Ladies and gentlemen, podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio with your host, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Pena, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
Welcome to Gamertag Radio episode 1057. This is your host, Danny, and join me this week, the MF himself, Paris. What's going on, Paris?
Hey, good morning. How are you doing, Danny? How are you doing, Pete?
Well, I was going to mention Pete, and Pete also here. Thanks, Paris, for introducing Pete.
He's the captain. He can do what he wants, okay? What's up, man? How you doing?
Nah, everything is good, man. Everything is good.
Good.
I believe there's a storm coming this week over here in New York from
You
Florida.
mean the same storm that's been hitting Florida? Okay.
Yeah. I think
Isaiah? And who
Yeah.
spelled that? Who learned how to spell that? Because I've never seen Isaiah spelled that way. I'm sorry. Apologies to those of you listening or watching on Twitch whose name is spelled that way, but I've never seen it, so you're an anomaly.
Yeah, it's all good. By the way, head over to gamertagradio.com, put your comments and feedback. You could also find us on any podcast app. Just search for Gamertag Radio. Make sure to subscribe, follow us, post a review, and spread the word about the show. Also, if you'd like to be part of Fan Mail, just contact us through voicemail or email, and this is how you can contact us.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, so we're going to start the show with a voicemail. And the thing I like about this episode is a lot of new first-time callers. So, Paris, you want to play that first voicemail?
Yes, I will. This is voicemail number 4.
Hey, what's up, GTR? It's a long-time listener, first-time caller, James from Beaverton, Portland, Oregon. Just calling really to just thank you guys for doing what you guys do. First of all, you guys have a great show. I'm actually calling because I just jumped on one of Paris's lives and on YouTube, and it was just getting spammed by all kinds of just crazy remarks, just nonsense, left and right, and it just makes me so upset because I can go on to one of these other folks' gamer channels, and they don't have any of that. What's the difference? It's you got a black guy on here talking about games, and now you got the haters just flooding over. I just wanted to say we gotta kill that stuff somehow, man. Maybe kill is not the right word, but we gotta stop it. You know what I mean? We just gotta stop it. When it comes to just playing video games and wanting to talk video games, as a black person in America, we should be able to just talk video games without having a problem, without having to have issues and have to start defending ourselves and who we are. And it's so frustrating that they just don't even understand that, man. And I just want to say we need more, black folks, minorities, more representation like you guys. And I just have to say, I say all that to say this. You guys have the ears of the publishers, of the creators, everybody in the background that are putting all this stuff together, Phil Spencer, all these folks. Could you just say something to them about this? Next time you guys talk to them, just tell them that I can't even play online because I end up getting so upset because I'll hear something stupid. You know what I mean? Every time it's something stupid, and it just drives me nuts. It's so I don't even play online. It just completely derailed me from playing online because, like you say, Paris, you got all these fake internet tough guys that are anonymous that love to talk tough on the phone or on the internet. I wish they would, but they won't ever because they're soft. But at the same time, it's you had to kill the chat because it was just getting spammed so tough. So I feel like, you know, as gamer tag, you guys got a lot of power. You just gotta, I hope, you know, you guys are flexing and letting these industry folks know, you know, like.
I think that's the end of it there. So I want to thank him for that voicemail. I purposely wanted to play that at the start because this was an incident that happened earlier in the week when I was on my YouTube channel, and I just randomly decided to live stream, no mods in the chat, things like that. And, you know, some people jumped in with just a bunch of racist comments and were basically just spamming the forums for no reason, right? It's not like I was talking about anything controversial at the time. They just purposely wanted to ruin the conversation, and they purposely picked the fact that I am an African American. And, you know, look, I'm just going to be wide open on this one. So Danny, go ahead and get your beat buttons ready. You know, I was a nigger, I was a coon, and I was just every racial word that you could possibly use to describe me, and they just spammed it over and over. Right now, you know, I'm a middle-aged man. I have thick skin. It didn't bother me as far as like, oh, my feelings were hurt or something like that. But it just sucked that it ruined what otherwise was a good conversation that was going on. Right. And it just got to the point where it was out of control and I couldn't properly manage it. I mean, I did need like a moderator in there to kind of handle it for me. So it ended the stream ultimately. You know, I mean, one of the people even at one point said when I was like, oh, I'm going to end it, he was like, yes, I win. And it's like that stuck in my head because at first I wasn't even going to talk about this at all. And then wound up the next day, I shot like a quick little video on Twitter and I put it out. But, you know, it's a problem. It's 100% a problem. And like I said, when that guy was saying, hey, I win, it's like, what are you winning? You're winning basically being an asshole online is what you're doing, right? Racist, asshole, harasser, bully, whatever you want to call it. And it's a problem. And like the person who left a voicemail, trust me when I say there are people in positions of leadership that have reached out to me and we've had offline conversations about this. You know, I've said publicly that EA, I'm part of their Building Healthy Communities initiative, and I'm very vocal on there. And I talk about this stuff a lot, so they know. But like the whole reason I put that video out is it's not just EA. It needs to be everyone. I mean, I know what Phil Spencer has said publicly. Clearly, they understand this is a problem as well, but it needs to be Xbox, PlayStation, EA, Activision, Bethesda, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. It has to be all of them. It has to be all of them. But keeping it strictly to gaming, it needs to be the publishers and the streaming platforms need some type of universal policy, enforcement, and punishment that if you're going to be a racist asshole on Xbox Live, then you're banned on PlayStation, you're banned on Nintendo, you're banned on Twitch, everywhere. It has to happen. There has to be some kind of universal reporting system, and it needs to go beyond just their user account because they'll create 1,000 of them. It has to be at the IP and the MAC address level. And I'm not trying to make this super technical, but if you truly want to get rid of this type of hate speech on your platforms, the punishment has to be quick and it needs to be severe. Let these people know that this kind of commentary will not be tolerated at all. And like I said the other day, it ain't about me. Fine, whatever. You can call me a nigger all day. I've been hearing it for 46 years. It doesn't faze me at this point. But my kids don't need to hear it. Other people's children don't need to hear it. Women don't need to get sexually harassed. Gay people don't need to get harassed. This needs to stop. And I'm being very colorful with my language because I want this point to get driven through. This isn't funny. This isn't like, I know the voicemail said these guys are being soft online, but I want to flip it the other way. The people that don't want this harassment aren't soft. They aren't weak. They don't need to suck it up. It's bullshit. It's 100% bullshit. It should not be happening in 2020. And yes, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Twitch, YouTube, you have the technology and the reporting tools to do a better job. Hire people to actually enforce this stuff. So when there is a report, there is a quick investigation into it. They find the offender and you ban them. That's what has to start happening. Because look, I'm keep it real. It almost makes me wonder, do you tolerate this because these same users generate you money? It makes me wonder. I'm not saying this is the truth, but it makes me ask the question. And that sucks. I shouldn't be asking, is this a business decision or is this a human issue? Because it should be about your communities. It should be about the people that are on your platform so that they have a harassment-free environment to play games. Because again, that's what all this is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about us hopping online, having a good time. It shouldn't be me going, well, don't turn my mic on because the second they realize I might be black, I'm going to get it called a freaking or whatever, right? Or if I'm gay, they're going to call me, a or whatever. I'm being very colorful with my language because this is the kind of shit that we hear online. We hear this language constantly online. My kids don't deserve this. They do not deserve this. So again, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Twitch, YouTube, EA, Activision, Bethesda, 2K, Bungie, CD Projekt Red, on down the line. Everyone. They all got to be on board. They all have to be willing to enforce this stuff, to actually do the right thing. Because I'm honestly tired of it. I'm tired of it. And what happened the other day just kind of highlighted it for me that this is still a problem. People still think it is okay to be anonymous online and harass other people online. Shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening. Playing online is not a right. It's not a right. It is a privilege to play online. These platform holders own the services. They can do whatever the hell they want. So start banning them. Start getting rid of these people that try to ruin our enjoyment online. The racism, the harassment, the bullying has to stop. It 100% needs to stop. And instead of having these conversations privately that I've had with certain people, they need to start having them out in public. They need to publicly denounce all this stuff. Like we talk about Black Lives Matter and everything that's going on in the world right now, even at the gaming level, we need to be more vocal about this stuff. We need to say, this is not cool. If you do it, you will be reported and your ass will be banned, maybe even permanently. And like I said, do it at the IP and the MAC address level. And yes, I know you can get around it. Trust me, been doing IT for 20 years. But the point is, most people aren't even intelligent enough to do it. And the ones that are, make them work for it. Make them work for it. Make them constantly have to keep jumping through hoops to be a racist asshole online. I bet they stop. But right now, it is as easy as me creating an account, being a harassment. All right, I might get banned. I'll be back in 2 minutes because that's what happens right now. There's no accountability at all. Make these people accountable for their actions, because why should I, my children, or anyone else have to deal with it? All right, ran off. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, I have to say this, and Paris, I love you, man. We go way back. I was super uncomfortable during that stream, and I was trying to send reports, and I think other people were doing the same thing too during the chat, and he was coming back. That the system that I have on YouTube is crappy. It's
horrible.
It didn't work. And we were doing it nonstop. No, but we were trying to figure out like how to block this guy or whatever. Like I've never used on the system.
Also, I was there also, okay. and that's the problem. It's not finding a way to stop them. It's poor tools provided by the platform to help provide a safe space for creators. And not to say that Twitch's is any better, it's improved over the last year, but it's not where it needs to be. Yes, as mods, you are able to see ban history, not just on the current channel, but on previous and other channels. Mm-hmm. So it's better where it's not where it needs to be. It has to be done from a machine and MAC address. You can spoof MAC addresses all day, but your hardware ID can't be changed unless the people that are doing this are able to swap out hardware on the fly swap out, their motherboard, etc. That's all. It has to be a combination of these two things. And on the other spectrum, at the end of the day, it's more important to the corporations to say that they're progressive versus actually going and providing the safe platform. Because at the end of the day, we're all sources of income to them, nothing more. And it's unfortunate. Cheapy in the chat said, I can't play online because of racism is a pretty strong message that industry executives will want to correct. And that's the problem, unfortunately. And I'm not putting you out there, Dave. I love everything that you've done over the years, but will want to correct is the issue. Needs to correct until correction of this attitude, whether it's by platform or user ID or however it is that is determined is the right method to do it. But it needs to become a priority, because at the end of the day, it's just going to make things more difficult for everyone involved, especially us as the consumer. Whatever happened to the US's consumer protection concept? We're not being protected. It's like, okay, well, let me just shovel the dirt of racism under the rug and move forward because I've got money to make. And until we as a people become a priority, it's going to continue to happen. So what I'd like to see YouTube do is actually knock on the door of Twitch and say, what is it that you've been doing to make these things better? Knock on the door of Facebook and saying, what have you been doing to make this better for content creators or consumers of your platform? What are we doing to make that a better, truly safer environment / platform? I'd like to see a way to block or ban a specific user or a hardware ID from Twitch or from YouTube, especially from YouTube, because YouTube apparently has zero tools for it. It's like, oh, let me just block and hide this person from chat. That does nothing for us as a consumer.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. Yeah, and everybody who's listening, just be vocal. We'll try our best. And I know Paris has also been vocal online for a long time. So hopefully we'll see change, man, in the future, man. It's just sad in 2020 we still are talking about this, man. It's pretty ridiculous. It's really bad. And it's not helping the industry at all, man. At all. So Paris, should we continue with the voice emotes or just the topics?
I know we were going to talk the Halo stuff. We should probably do that, right?
Yeah. We should definitely do that. One of the things that we talked about last week was, and we brought this up a lot, that 343 Industries should be vocal, have some strong communication, and the messaging should be right. Because there was a lot of controversy about the graphics and the gameplay demo that they showed during the Xbox Games Showcase. And Paris, there was a post a couple of days ago on their official website, and I felt like that was very transparent. Like, I loved the way that we just kept it real about the whole thing. They talked about the graphics. Also, they were making fun about Craig. The meme that was going around, and they talked about a couple other things, man. Yeah, they talked about a lot of other things too, man. And I think they did it the right way. Then a couple of days ago, after that, it was the same day or the next day, there was a leak that multiplayer was going to be free to play, and a lot of people were like, "Whoa, what?" And also 120 FPS. The next day, they confirmed it too, and now everybody's even more excited about a Halo Infinite, especially the multiplayer now. So, were you guys surprised? Do you like the post that they talked about? Everything that happened during that time. Just want to hear your thoughts, and let's go with Pete first to see what you think about all this. We'll go from there.
I think it's. I'm glad to see that Phil took a little bit. He took the jab himself, and he was like, let's let's play around with it. But hopefully, he is, not just him, but everybody at 343 is looking and listening. I said this last week that we commonly see 50% of the assets pushed on demos, and that's what we saw. I want to believe in my heart of hearts that what we saw was exactly that. a stripped down demo in preparation to release it to the public, because that's what we would have had. Ideally, I would have been like, no, give me all of the assets, give me all of the audio, give me everything, and make this presentation a better representation of what gamers will see day and date of release. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I think they dropped the ball, but we've all talked about that. We talked about this ad nauseum last week, but hey, long live Craig the Brute. I want the backstory now. I want to know. I want to know all about Craig the Brute. I want my own, like, even if it's just like an Xbox Live, 30-minute playable. I want 30 minutes of Craig the Brute and his backstory.
They should do like an online ad with him in there featuring him. That would be awesome.
Make him, yeah, exactly. Use the opportunity.
Yeah.
Take the negative spin and make it a positive. But at the end of the day, like I said, hopefully 343 has seen the vitriol. I'm pretty sure they have, and they spin it and correct it.
No, they did. They did. I think online.
We'll see.
The post. Yeah. You haven't read the post?
As we said earlier, actions speak louder than words. So let's see.
All right, Paris. What about you, man?
I was happy to see it. I was happy to see it, all of it, because this is exactly what I've been talking about since pretty much right after the reveal. That okay, you got the Craig memes, you got the visuals out there. Communicate. We did that Q&A with 343. It needs to be more. You need to get out in front of this before you. I mean, because honestly, if you just let this go unchecked, you could potentially just ruin the launch of not only Halo Infinite, but also the Series X, because the narrative has changed now, right? So get out in front of this if you're 343. Talk about the visuals. Talk about why it looks the way it does and what you're doing about it, which they did. They owned their artistic vision, saying it looks like this because this is how we want it to look, because X, Y, and Z, obviously trying to harken back to Halo CE. But yes, there's still work to be done on the visuals. I can look at that and understand that and accept it. Like, okay, judge a product by its final form, not by this preview. I still think it was a mistake to show the game in this form if you knew this was 100% ready. And I think under the conditions of COVID, we would have been understanding of it. But look, that's happened. Water under the bridge, keep moving. The multiplayer leak happened. So instead of burying your head in the sand and pretending like, well, what are you talking about? I don't know. No, get out in front of it. Yep, it's real. More details to come. That's all you needed to do, because clearly they have an event where they're going to lay it all out and we're going to get this big reveal. But since this part of it leaked, own it, which more companies need to do this. I'm very happy to see Xbox and 343 just own it, because leaks happen all the time. Own the leak. Let people get excited about this, because if you notice, ever since they confirmed this, I'm telling you, the narrative has actually changed on Halo Infinite in the past couple of days, because people are getting excited about the possibilities of it being free to play, what that means overall, and not to mention the 120 frames per second option that clearly will also be on PC, but also a part of the Series X as well. And like I told you, Danny, offline, the one thing, like it like clicked with me. I wasn't even thinking about this until yesterday. It's on Steam. It's free to play. The Halo PC community is about to explode because of that fact, right? I know naysayers immediately jump in, well, cheating. Look, that's on them to have their anti-cheating system in. We'll see when it happens. But the fact that they're taking Halo multiplayer, they're making it free to play, they're putting it on arguably the largest gaming platform in the world, PC, for free. That is just going to encourage so many people to jump in and try it. This is why Xbox Live Gold is going away. I mean, they haven't officially announced it yet, but it's happening. It's 100% happening, because they are taking that barrier away. They want more people to be engaged in online gaming, and obviously specifically Halo. I'm sure the esport options are just going to be, endless that they're going to have with this game. So that excites me again. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Just that one tweet, I feel like, helped change the narrative of everyone being a Debbie Downer on Halo Infinite. And now we can look forward to the next reveal. And I'm sure they have taken a lessons learned from the initial reveal that they're not going to show Halo Infinite again in that state. The next time we see Halo Infinite, it's going to be in a lot better state. And they want to get people excited about it. If this is the artistic style and the visual style that you're going for, fine. All I care about truly is the gameplay. But Xbox as a company, then, if Halo Infinite isn't going to be your flagship visual showcase title for Series X, get something else out there to be the visual showcase. Which, look, I'll go back again. Flight Simulator. I'm telling you, show it on Series X because it looks absolutely phenomenal on PC right now. But whatever they got to do, now's their chance going into August and obviously beyond, leading up to launch, to change the narrative that we had from the July reveal. And I think this was a good first step for it.
This is how Xbox could flip Game Pass using Halo Infinite, because the other games you buy premium content, like for the season or something like that, right? Game Pass subscribers could get that, but there will be cosmetics where you could also buy that on your own, like separately, but at least show us, for those that have Xbox Game Pass, the benefit of having that service with Halo Infinite. And I think that's also an opportunity for Xbox to flip it and start adding cool content there for subscribers, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and the reason why we also saying that this thing is going away, Xbox Live, it's going to be totally for free, is one is just for the past week or so, we've been noticing that Microsoft has been removing the whole 12-year month subscription cards, like from the stores. They're taking that out, even online too. You can't buy that. You only could buy a 1 month or a 3 month if you want a card for your account. So having it for free, it's good. And I think most likely we might hear that announcement sometime this month. And I hope they talk about Halo also, Paris, multiplayer during this month, man. Or if not, save it for like September. That's another time they could talk about it too, man. So, but I'm excited for the future. I think there's gonna be a lot of fun. Now, the only thing I'm a little bit worried, and you guys tell me if you feel the same. Fortnite, when it first came out, they had a campaign, single player, and I know they're still adding new content there, right? But they're focused more on the multiplayer than the single player. Halo single player is super important, man. I just don't want for 343 and Microsoft to just forget that and just concentrate so much on the multiplayer, because that's when I'll be super disappointed with that, man. But we'll see. I still have trust, and I hope it's still saying the same. I want them to support both single player and multiplayer. So, Pete, you could go if you want.
All right. Well, first I want to go back to what Paris was talking about with the Halo 343 stuff. So Chris Lee, the studio head of 343, had said, we're definitely, and quote unquote, we're definitely still very much in development. We have some polishing and tuning that the team is working on to really bring the full potential of the experience to our fans later this year, end quote. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that what we saw is not indicative, or is truly indicative, basically going back to the 50% of the assets stripped for the demo purposes? Or do we really think that was, truly what we're expected to see? And plus, if they're supposed to be launching day and date with the console, you don't have that much time. You've got a few months left. Is that enough? Is that enough time for them to truly fix what they're doing? And then going to your second comment, Paris, about Flight Simulator, that's traditionally been a Windows thing, right? It's traditionally been a PC title.
It's coming to Xbox, and they've already confirmed that. That's my point.
Is it? Because I'm on the web, I'm on their site.
No, we literally talked.
Game Studios.
No, Pete. We literally talked. I asked this directly to Aaron Greenberg. Okay. Directly. Yeah. It is coming to Xbox at a later date. That's been the whole narrative since they first announced it, that it will be on Xbox. Hell, even right now in this preview build, it works with an Xbox controller. And I get what Aaron said, that yes, it is a PC first game. And yeah, I understand it's coming out in August. But my point was, it would have been nice to have that available, ready to go at launch for Series X. That's all I'm saying. Because as visually, Like even Digital Foundry just put the video out this week. Next Gen Showcase. That was their title. Mm-hmm. This is like our first peek into what next gen visuals are looking like with Flight Simulator. That was my point with that. That shows the power of what the Series X could potentially do.
That game could be Pilot Wings for Xbox if it comes out.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. Like that's a game that you just play and just look around the area, you know. Oh man, it looks amazing. It looks amazing, man. Is that game also multiplayer or is just strictly single player?
No, there's multiplayer in there.
Oh, there is?
There's multiplayer. Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I can't wait. And I know you guys are going to get it first because you guys are PC owners, but I can't wait to hear your thoughts about it, man. So, anything else about Halo? Anything else? Or the theories?
I mean, to go on more on what Pete's saying. I mean, I agree. They're running out of time. We already know that ray tracing will not be available at launch. How far after launch is the bigger question, I think. Is this indicative of what the final game is going to look like? No, because we know that there are going to be post-launch visual enhancements to the game. But I do think this isn't indicative of what it's even going to look like when it does launch in, October and November. So they got it needs a second reveal, so to speak. And clearly there's going to be some kind of multiplayer event where they're going to kind of just have a blowout for that. So that can kind of be its second chance, so to speak. But we even know the multiplayer is not going to look as good as the campaign because traditionally that's just how it works, especially since they're touting going 120 frames per second on Series X. There's going to be a visual downgrade on multiplayer compared to what campaign is. So look, it's up to them at this point. It's up to them to get the right communication out about this game. And that's why I'm saying this open dialogue, be honest about things. Don't try and trick us into anything. If it's going to look a certain way, own it. That's all I'm saying. Because if you're upfront about it, I think as gamers, we're understanding, because at the end of the day, we just want the game to be fun. As long as the game's fun, that's really all that matters. But don't promise something that you can't deliver, because then the internet will literally eat them alive because people will be upset. So, we'll see, but you're correct, Pete. They're running out of time. So realistically, Dan and I were talking about this. If you think about it, we're in August now. Realistically, they only got about two and a half more months to really market this game.
Because they got to push. They got to push. They got to push plastic. They got to push everything else. Get everything printed and ready to go.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure it's ready to go. And I'm pretty sure, knowing the way the current state of games is, we're looking at a day one patch for last minute updates.
100%.
Oh yeah,
yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Agreed. I can see this. I can see Microsoft promoting Halo Infinite, and then at the end of the video say, "Play it now on Xbox Game Pass for $1 a month, whatever, like the first month or two, whatever." We're might see that, and also they'll probably do the same thing once they start promoting the actual console to like those short ads. We're gonna see the same exact thing a lot. So now my question for you guys before we go to the voicemails is, when do you think we might see the press conferences, the digital ones, for this month? Do you think we'll be in the middle, the end of the month, or sometime this week? Like, it could be random. It could be any time. But let's go with Paris.
I think end of the month, closer to Gamescom. If not during Gamescom, but yeah.
During. Okay. You too, Pete?
I tend to agree with that comment. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can't see them doing anything further than that. It's got to be. Oh.
Yeah, they can't. They announce the price and the date, and that's it. All right. So let's go with the voicemails. It's time for fan mail.
Fan mail at gamertagradio.com.
All right. Let's go with the second voicemail here for this episode. We'll go from there, man.
All right, playing voicemail number 1.
Hey, Gamertag. This is Sammy out of Haiti. What's up? Been listening to you guys for the past 2 months. Really enjoy your content, your honest opinion, and yeah, everything you're doing is just straight up good. All right, keep doing what you're doing. Quick question. Do you think that the rumored Xbox event for August will be it's when we'll actually see the true power of the Series X? Because I plan to get it, but I need to make sure that I'm getting the bang for my bucks. All right, peace out.
All right, so thank you for that voicemail. Appreciate that. And yeah, I do think August, because like we were just talking about, they're running out of time. Yeah, I don't think they could delay it any further. I think August, they're going to have a quote unquote hardware and services event. We're going to see Series X. We're going to see Lockhart. They're going to say the price. They're going to say the launch date. And they're going to they probably had a couple games they held out of the game showcase to be a game to display what Series X and Lockhart can do. It has to happen. I like we said, they're running out of time at this point, so they have to do it. What do you guys think? Or Danny, what do you think?
I totally agree. Show us a reason, because like I said this in the last episode, I said that Xbox did a pretty good job promoting Xbox Game Pass during the showcase, and they did a pretty terrible reason on why you should buy a Series X. So show us a reason. Show us games or samples, like some videos on why we should purchase this console. And at the same time promote the services. You know what I'm saying? So totally agree. And like you said, they're running out of time. They are definitely running out of time. And I know they're going to announce a couple other games too, like Perfect Dark, hopefully, and who knows what else, for during this showcase. Because I think they want to save a couple of big announcements just in case Sony will also have announcement. Because look, Sony has some stuff hitting, and they're going to surprise a lot of people too. They're going to have a crazy announcement too, I think, personally. So, and also about Lockhart, there's an image that just got leaked a couple of days ago of a white controller that's similar to the Xbox Series X controller, but it's white, and I think that controller is for Lockhart.
Yeah,
so yeah, it's gonna be white. And the reason why I said that is because if you think about the consoles is out now, Xbox One S is white, Xbox One X is black, similar to the Series X, and most likely it would be like that for Series S. So just want to say that very quick. What about you, Pete?
I'm going to reserve judgment.
Okay, all right.
No, I don't know if they're going to do the black and white thing. I mean, it sounds similar to what they did with Xbox One and the Xbox One S, so not surprising. But I mean, yeah, we'll definitely see what they have, and you'll definitely see the differences between the two later this month, right? They need to get that messaging out. Now the question is, now knowing that Microsoft has this Xbox event in August, what are the chances Sony tries to one up them and flip it on them and say, okay, well, we know that theirs is on date X, we're going to hit it one day early or the same day, just and preempt them with their announcements?
Honestly, Sony doesn't really have to do much, man, because right now it looks like people are more excited still for the PlayStation 5. So Sony's in a comfortable place. I think what might change is the conversation about the price of both consoles. It could be good or it could be really bad. So that could change the whole thing. But I hope we get to hear about that soon, man, from both companies, man.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah. It's coming. Again, they're out of time. They're both out of time. They gotta start talking about this stuff. So yeah, I'd be shocked if in 3 weeks we aren't talking about launch dates and prices for both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go with the next voicemail.
All right, and this is going to be voicemail number 2.
Hey, Danny Paris. This is Andrew from New Jersey. Love the show. Just wanted to ask a question. So yesterday, which would be the 28th of July, Gabe Newell of Valve basically said in an interview in New Zealand, Xbox is better than PS5. They asked him why, and he said, because it is. Simple and short. He says he has no dog in this race, but I kind of wonder, maybe he does. Here's a conspiracy theory for you. Xbox doesn't have a VR headset coming into next gen, and I've long since wondered why something based on Windows couldn't take a broader approach and maybe support all VR headsets, Oculus, Vive, Valve Index. Now I come to wonder, maybe they're doing something like that. Do you see a possibility that Valve and Microsoft could be working together to have support for the Valve Index for next-gen Xbox, which would maybe lead to Gabe Newell's comments? Or do you think Microsoft would still go it alone if they decided to do VR? Would they make their own VR headset and, not bother to deal with somebody else? Feels like the smartest idea. They'd have less problems, and somebody else would already have the hardware worked out for them. Love the show. Talk to you guys later.
All right. Thank you for that voicemail. And I said this on Twitter right after that video surfaced of Gabe, Lord Gabe, actually saying that. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. I'm guessing, I would assume he is saying that because on a technical hardware level, the Xbox Series X is going to be superior to what the PlayStation 5 is. Look, argue it all you want, but we've seen the specs of both. It's just a fact of the matter. That's probably why he's saying it. But I will say for practical purposes, I don't care what Gabe says. I really don't, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he prefers the Xbox over the PlayStation. You get to decide what you prefer. And that's all that matters. The games that you want to play on the platform that you want to play is all that matters. And the fact that people took what he said and used it as fuel to continue this absolutely, I'm in just a grumpy mood today. And clearly one of the dumbest, childish, most immature debates you can have in gaming, the flipping console war, is ridiculous. It is. It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't care what Gabe said on that, because I'm going to play where I want to play, how I want to play. And like I've said a million times, my mother taught me this 40 years ago. Stop worrying about what other people do. Worry about you. Worry about your enjoyment on your money, buying the games that you want to play on the platform that you want to play. That's all that matters. Now, to his second point about could Gabe have been talking about this, could potentially Xbox could use the Valve Index for VR purposes. I mean, according to Phil Spencer, and we asked him this directly, I mean, they have no plans for VR anytime soon. They just want to get the Series X out of the door and make sure that everything that they control is working the way they want it to before they even start to look at VR. They're basically assessing the VR market before they jump back into it. They're going to leave VR on the PC right now before they try to bring it to console. So I don't think that's why he said it. I just think Gabe looked at the technical specs of it. He looked at potentially how easy or not easy it may be to develop on both, and he decided Xbox was the best. I think it's as simple as that. I don't think there's a bias either way for him, even though he is a former Microsoft employee. But that's just my opinion. What about you, Pete?
Well, first I want to question Andrew. Why no hello to me? Why did you only address Paris and Danny? But that's a different question. Obviously Gabe's, with regards to Gabe and his preference, I mean, we all know that he's a PC guy through and through, right? And so he's always going to have that preference to a PC Windows coexistence. So I'm not surprised at it anyway. Regarding Valve Index coming to Microsoft, yes, Microsoft, Phil has said that it's not a priority, but technically the Xbox running x86 is on a PC anyway, so I would not be surprised if we see. I would not be surprised to see if we see some form of perhaps compatibility between the two. It does beg the question: whatever happened to HoloLens? Did that completely go away as a potential accessory for the Xbox?
It's a great question. I haven't heard anything about HoloLens in a while. I mean,
I played with it 2 years ago. I want to say I played the HoloLens as a dev unit at my house. I had it for like 2 weeks, and me and the kids and the wife, we all got to play around with it. But it was supposed to be, something used as a tool going into, and I know that it had, it's reported usage in the medical field. I know it had its use in architecture and space planning, and Didn't you guys have a virtual environment or something for Halo like 2 years ago at E3? Did you guys, but that was AR, but that wasn't fully VR with a helmet, right?
It was HoloLens.
It was HoloLens. So it is, so the technology potential is there. So maybe it was just
but
too
HoloLens is no longer a gaming focus for Microsoft.
Right.
It's just a consumer focus.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Gotcha.
Was that the year Kanye came and took over the booth?
Yes.
And we got kicked out. Like, I'm like, really, Kanye? Really? Okay. I remember that. Oh, by the way, for those that don't know, look, I don't care what Gabe said about he prefer Xbox or PlayStation. I really don't care. But years ago, he said the same exact thing about the Wii U, and look what happened. So it doesn't mean anything, man. So
and let me correct myself so we don't get an email later. When I say HoloLens, I said it was consumer for. I didn't mean that. It's business. It's like you said, Pete. It's in the medical field. They aren't bringing this to individual consumers anymore. At least that's not their focus today. And clearly, it's not for gaming. That's what I meant. So sorry.
Yeah. All right. Let's go with the next voicemail.
All right. Last voicemail here. Voicemail number 3.
Hello, GTR. This is Game Notes out of Jersey. I just wanted to say great solo podcast, Danny. And I do agree with you on xCloud. I believe the question was, do I agree that xCloud is about to be announced for launch, whether it is this event coming up Thursday or in August? And I do agree. I do agree now would be the time to announce it. I just don't agree it's going to be $1 a month. I see for all those games, maybe a launch price for $1 a month, but even that's a little wishful thinking to me. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're right. Keep up the great work, guys. Stay up.
All right. Well, thank you for that voicemail. And Pete, how about we just turn it to you? What do you think?
I think, Danny, you're nuts if you think it's going to be $1 a month.
I didn't say $1. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm confused. I said, because look, I said this. I said to be a first-time subscriber of Game Pass is $1. That's what I said. I didn't say it's going to be $1 per month. I never said that. And also, this voicemail came in before it was announced that Project xCloud is going to be included with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So yeah, but yeah, $1 per month. I have never said that. That's insane.
I had to comment on that because that's just insane. That's just insane thinking.
Yeah.
No. But shout out to Game Note, shout out to Jersey, and going back to Sammy Early Sac Passe.
Oh, there you go. All right, Paris, your thoughts about that voicemail? No? You have nothing to say? You good?
Well, no. I mean, you basically just said it for me. I mean, look. Yeah. Going back to the whole xCloud, the Xbox Live stuff. Let's just phrase it this way. We've already talked about it. Mm-hmm. Look, it's happening. Gold's going away. Matter of fact, Tim Dog. I don't know if you know who Tim Dog is. He tweeted earlier that if you try to cash in your 12-month Game Pass or a Gold subscription, like if you have a prepaid 12-month thing, it auto converts it to a 4-month Xbox Live. Too many acronyms. Sorry. If you take an Xbox Live Gold prepaid 12-month card and try and cash it in right now, it will try to auto upgrade you to a 4-month Game Pass Ultimate subscription. So something is clearly happening behind the scenes right now. We already know that xCloud is going to be a part of Ultimate. Gold is seemingly going away in some form so that baseline multiplayer is free across the board. And then I would imagine some of the other perks of Gold probably goes into base Game Pass. And I mean, that's what August is going to be about. I think they're going to talk about a lot of that stuff where they're basically resetting their pricing structure for services. So if you just want to play multiplayer games, you don't have to pay anything. Knock yourself out. If you want to be a Game Pass subscriber, go ahead, knock yourself out. But it's choice now. It's just a choice. Mm-hmm. You won't be forced to give Xbox any additional money to play Halo Infinite, Fortnite, or any of these free-to-play games. Or if you want to go buy Gears 5, you can do that. If you want to sub to get it, you can do that. It's the choices that they're going to give you now, which excites me. And then, like I said, Project xCloud itself is a part of Game Pass Ultimate. And I think Phil Spencer even talked, I think that was iJustine talked about this, but he even said they wanted to start off on Ultimate because they know that's their most hardcore audience to start with. And then they can assess from there if they want to break xCloud out into also having its own pay model. They want to bring it to a lower tier, whatever they want to do. They can assess from that point. But they know people that subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate is going to be their most hardcore Xbox ecosystem customers. So it just makes sense because these are the people that are going to want to consume the most of your games from literally any platform they can. It just so smart. I'm excited for all of it. I do think ultimately, God, too many acronyms. I'm sorry. But I do think they still need to bundle Game Pass in with the Series X/S at launch, at least 3 months of it at launch, because you want to give people a taste of that subscription. Just like they're going to take these existing gold customers and they're probably going to convert them to Game Pass to give them a taste. Like, here's the service. Here's what you can expect. Maybe they like it and they continue to sub. If they don't like it, you can continue to buy your games individually like you've always been doing. But it's the choice that matters. And that's what excites me about this.
I want to ask you and Pete this question because, by the way, this Thursday, I'm releasing a podcast episode with Tony Polanco from Thorough Down Podcast. We were talking about for over an hour everything about Game Pass, and one of the things that he brought up, and I'm going to ask you this question to you guys. He said that a lot of people think and feel that Xbox Game Pass devalue the games. Do you guys agree with that? Yes or no?
No. And I think that's another very tired argument that seems to be floating around right now. Oh, I'm serious, man. I don't know. It's getting to the point, not of frustration, but just of disbelief that people can't see what Microsoft is trying to do. They aren't devaluing your games. They aren't going to start making crappy AAA games. Look, we've said from the get, they got to make games that people care about. That narrative still exists. And I can get behind that narrative that you need to make better games to make Game Pass, a viable thing. Because if you don't have games that people care about, no one's going to subscribe to your thing. 100% agree with that. But the narrative that they won't make AAA games that people care about, or at least try to, is ridiculous. I mean, to me, the value of Game Pass is going to be at the AA level. It's going to be at the indie level where, look, whether you're subscribing to Game Pass or not, you're going to buy the Halos, the Avoweds, the Fables, and all that other world, right? Because you want to play those games. But it's those AA indie games that you may not have given a second look being a part of that subscription. I'll try it. Why not? And you're going to find these hidden gems inside of that. Cicero Holmes said this on Podcast Unlocked, so I can't take credit for it. Shout out to Stubby Stan. I love you, brother. He said on there that you got to look at it from a Netflix standpoint. Netflix has some amazing shows, right? Like Umbrella Academy, stuff like that. Stuff that you want to watch. But then they got a whole bunch of bad stuff too. But then they got these hidden gems like The Floor is Lava. Ridiculous show. Yes. But I watch it. Right?
I watch it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you got to look at it that way. That's where the value of Game Pass is going to come in. Whereas you're going to get your guaranteed bangers that you want to play. Yes, there are going to be some games that stink, but there's going to be some stuff in the middle there that you're going to discover and be like, oh, wow, I would have never played this if I didn't have Game Pass because I wouldn't have spent the $30 or $40 to play it. We talked about this offline. I'm just going to say this because, again, I got to keep it real. Disintegration is a game that should be on Game Pass because we love Marcus. We love that studio. We love the risk and the different play style that game brings. It's different, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think enough people are giving it a chance right now. But if it was on Game Pass, I think a lot more people would at least try it. And maybe it clicks with them. Like we said, the left hand, the right hand, the way that you play that game. And maybe it could garner a bigger community right now. Because clearly, let's just be honest. Right now, that game's struggling. They've already made a free weekend for it. That's just the reality of it. I want to see that studio succeed. I want to see that game succeed. But you're asking people to spend $40 to risk $40 on a game they may not necessarily like. But if it was on Game Pass, more people would at least try it because they're going, I already own it. Why not? And then you're going to get people that like it. You're going to get people that don't like it. But I guarantee you that game would get a bigger audience if it was part of Game Pass. And that's what Game Pass does, in my opinion. It's going to allow studios to take a risk and not suffer the severe penalties of if that risk doesn't pay off, the studio might go away. Because Game Pass is going to generate more eyeballs on your IP, if that makes sense.
Yep. Perfect example. Grounded came out a couple of days ago. It was developed by 13 people from Obsidian, right? Usually companies will also always work on side projects to see if they could sell this to other publishers. And most of the time, the majority of the time, they will completely, what was this? Okay. They will completely deny that, okay, we don't want this game for us, right? So they don't get the opportunity to get that game published, right? Now that the game is already out on Game Pass and also on Steam, over 1 million people are now playing the game, and within 48 hours. That's amazing. And that's a perfect example, Paris. It was a side project, and look, it became a hit. And it's only been a couple of days. Over 1 million people downloaded the game. Imagine if there was no Game Pass and they would have released this just normal. Dude, it would have been a very small group of people just playing that. A very small. It would have been 1 million. So
not necessarily though. Not necessarily. Well, I'm not going to.
I'm talking about from the console. Console. I'm talking about console. PC is a different beast.
I'm not trying to tie consoles to PCs and stuff. I'm just saying, I'm not disputing that there's a link to it, but I do think that a good game is going to get shine when it's a good game, right? So I think. Why I don't want to overshadow what it being free to more people has done for it, but I do think that a well-developed game will get popular. I mean, we saw stupid games like was the duck game that came out last year, out of nowhere, got super popular because it was stupid fun, right? It got talked about on TV and it went viral and everybody wanted to jump out and play the game. Same with Goat Simulator a few years ago. Another stupid, ridiculous game, but was fun, and it didn't have to rely on things like Game Pass, etc. And I don't want to say gimmicks because it comes off wrong, but a good game will get popular and will get noticed and will get into the hands of others when it's well done. And good games are like that. Grounded apparently is a good game that a lot of people are enjoying, and I think trying to tie its popularity into a reliance on Game Pass might just be wrong. That's just my personal opinion.
And here's the thing, Pete. Look, that's your opinion, but in reality, it's taking a risk, and you don't know if the game is going to be a hit or not. But being in the service, at least it will be pushed even more because look, here's the difference between Game Pass, Netflix, and Spotify. It is hard to find content on Spotify and Netflix unless you see on the front page. The thing with Game Pass, it's a smaller amount of content, and it's easier to find it on the front page. Games that's added, games that are leaving, games that's popular. It's a lot easier. So I think if it wasn't for the service, I think Grounded, in my personal opinion, would not get over 1 million people playing the game within 48 hours, in my opinion. The game that you mentioned, it took a while to get that buzz. It took a long time. And then it was a hit after that, But that's just my opinion. Anything else, Paris, before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's it. I got to run anyways, but yeah, I mean, I know I was a little more animated than usual on this episode, so to anyone that has been caught off guard about that, I do apologize, but it was something that needed to be said, so I said it, and hopefully something changes, man, as we go into this next gen. I just want to be excited about gaming. I don't want to have to freaking jump through freaking hoops and run through an obstacle course to avoid hate speech online. So hopefully these platform holders can do a better job in policing all that stuff.
Yeah, totally agree, man. All right, so everybody head over to gamertagradio.com, post your comments and feedback. You could also find us on any podcast app. Just search for Gamertag Radio. Make sure to follow us, subscribe, post a review. And if you would like to be part of Fan Mail, because look, we played a lot of first-time callers on the show. You could do the same thing too. Here's how you could contact us.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, and that's about it. Make sure to listen to the show later this week, Thursday. I have another episode which I talked to Tony Polanco from Throwdown. We talked a lot about Xbox Game Pass and a couple other things, man. So stay tuned. Until next time, thank you for listening. We're out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.